Hello, my name is Brenda and I'm taking forward the Dementia Care Coordination Programme within Inverclyde. I'm going to talk briefly about the programme, how the Dementia Reference Group has supported and informed the programme, and also some examples of work that we've done together. I will be joined by Doreen after my presentation just to talk about her experiences in being involved in the group. Okay, first of all, just to let you know what the programme, what we're doing in the programme. So what we're looking to do is to improve the experience, safety and coordination of care services and support for people with dementia from diagnosis and throughout their dementia journey. We want to support people to stay well at home or in a homely setting for as long as possible. And part of this is to share our learning across Greater Glasgow and Clyde, Scotland and wider. So right from the outset, we wanted to make sure we had people who living with dementia and their carers involved in the programme. So in partnership with Inverclyde Alzheimer's Scotland, Your Voice, the Carer Centre and the Dementia Reference Group, we have a written agreement of how this two-way communication will work. The Dementia Reference Group members didn't want to sit in the steering group. They were invited, but it was too big a forum. So somebody from Your Voice sits in the steering group and I come to the Dementia Reference Group each month to share pieces of work, get their feedback, and I feed that back to the steering group. So in terms of things that they've been involved in, the Dementia Reference Group has told us how services and support for people with dementia could be improved. And that included the programme launch event that was in the Tontine Hotel in Greenock. Doreen's going to talk about her experiences of that later on. And also we did some focus groups. These focus groups were away at the start and it involved health and social care staff and wider services that support people with dementia, but also included the Dementia Reference Group. And we wanted to find out what care coordination and what services and support should look like for Inverclyde. So this has informed the programme right from the outset. But also the Dementia Reference Group shared their experiences during the pandemic. And here is some of the feedback we got, and I'm sure some people will be able to recognise this. But what was important is that this information was shared with the Scottish Government and some national partners, and this then helped inform the current dementia strategy that's in place just now. We also, everybody newly diagnosed with dementia is entitled to 1 year's post-diagnostic support from a trained link worker. So we asked the Dementia Reference Group to help us identify one question that will let us know how helpful the post-diagnostic support service was for people with dementia and their carers. And they were involved from the outset and were really helpful in informing that question. So, and that's finalised now. And finally, we have our dementia self-management leaflet, very much co-produced by the Dementia Reference Group. They provided information, feedback and support in taking this forward, and Doreen's going to talk about that a bit later on as well. And as you can see, we've actually got the Dementia Reference Group mentioned on this because we really want as many people being involved in the Dementia Reference Group as much as possible. So that's my presentation, and it's just giving you a kind of idea of what the work that the Dementia Reference Group has supported us in taking this forward. So I would like to introduce you now to our Doreen Borland. Doreen is the sole carer for her husband Andrew, and Doreen and Andrew have been involved in the Dementia Reference Group right from the start. Hi Doreen, lovely to see you again. Thank you for coming along today to kind of talk about your experiences. So first of all, and as I say, it's just going to be a chat just about how you feel you've got, how the group has went for you. So can you tell me, Doreen, first of all, how you became involved in the Dementia Reference Group?
Yeah, our dementia advisor in Greenock knew Andrew's background of management and committees. So he encouraged him to join the Scottish Dementia Working Group in Glasgow. I would take him up to the meetings until it became too much for him. But during this time, the Greenock office decided they wanted to restart the Dementia Working Group there and asked us to be involved. And although Andrew is now in a care home, I'm still very much involved in the now named Dementia Reference Group.
And that's great. Obviously, Andrew was really well involved at the start, in his early stages of dementia, so that's great.
Yeah.
And it's great that you can carry on doing that, so fantastic. So Doreen, as you know, there's a process of two-way communication between the programme steering group and the Dementia Reference Group. How do you feel that's going?
The group's working well together. We're looking at problems for people with dementia and also the information and help there for carers. Some of us in the group are carers, so we can voice firsthand any problems. In fact, I was able to share a concern that affected myself. When my husband went into the care home, working out the finance was very stressful. I understood or thought that his pension would be paid directly to the care home for his care. Then I started to receive invoices from the home for payment, and this amount was for more than his pension. So I started to get very stressed about how I was going to be able to continue paying this amount. After lots of sleepless nights and worry, I actually discovered that the pension would be paid directly as it was into our bank. And by raising a direct debit, the amount in the invoice would be paid to the care home. So I wouldn't be paying two amounts as I thought. But if this system had been explained to me right at the start, I wouldn't have had all the worry that I did have. We then asked yourself, Brenda, to take this back to social work department, which you did, and I believe it's still ongoing.
Yeah, we're looking at that information provision just to see if it could be improved. And I know I've given you the information, and we're going to look and see if we can make that better. So, that's a really good example of that. You know, your experience, and then we're taking it back to make it better. Really, as part of the programme. Okay, I mentioned earlier, Doreen, how the Dementia Reference Group has been involved in lots of pieces of work that we've done. Can you tell me what it is you've particularly enjoyed being involved in?
Oh, that answer's easy. It's our simple, colourful information leaflet. When we received the confirmation that Andrew had dementia, I don't remember getting any information of where to go for help. I had to find that out for myself. So receiving the word that you actually don't want to hear is hard. But if someone takes time to give you information of where you can go to get help, that's very important. So our leaflet is simple to read, and hopefully it'll be handed out at the start of everyone's journey.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Doreen, it will. And it's really good to know that you would find that useful. The whole Dementia Reference Group felt that the leaflet would be useful. And I love how you call it our leaflet, because it was very much co-produced together, wasn't it? It definitely was.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, Doreen. So earlier I mentioned about the Dementia Reference Group being involved in the launch event at the Tontine Hotel. Do you want to tell me a wee bit about that, about your experiences?
The event, it was busy and we were there all day. Each session in the morning, I felt, was more directed towards people with medical backgrounds. There was lots of jargon. There were slides with pie charts and percentages, which it was hard for us to follow. In the afternoon, there was a session we could take part in. In other words, it was more about us. It may have been better for us just to join in the afternoon session, which was more, as I say, geared towards us. Yeah. And of course, for tea and cake.
Yes, oh yes, of course. I mean, that's brilliant feedback, Doreen, and I know definitely when we're looking at the end of the programme event, we're looking to see how we can do that differently from your feedback and the rest of the group's feedback. So thanks for that again. So Doreen, our final question I wanted to ask you was, is there any, in terms of your experiences, is there any last comment you would like to say before we finish up today?
My last comment is how well we're all working together to bring change and help to our community. So thank you.
Yeah, and thank you, Doreen. It's very much appreciate you sharing your experiences today, because it has really helped us in terms of taking the programme forward. And I also would like to take a minute just to thank the rest of the Dementia Reference Group, Alzheimer's Scotland and Inverclyde, and Your Voice for arranging our connection between the programme and the Dementia Reference Group. So thanks very much.